Hello everyone. So today we'll be doing data interpretation questions. And for our first question, what is the ratio of the amount of vitamin C in 500 grams of orange to the amount of vitamin C in 500 grams of orange juice? So we have this data set. So milligrams per 100 grams. So for 100 grams, orange juice has around uh, less than 50. So let's assume this to be 40. Orange juice has 40 milligrams of vitamin C per 100 grams, and orange has approximately, it is more than 50, so it's approximately, let's suppose, 70. Now, how many milligrams of orange vitamin C will be in orange juice? So this would be 500 into 40. And how much would be in the orange? This would be 500 into 70. So what is the ratio of the amount of vitamin C in 500 grams of orange? So 500 grams of orange will contain 500 into 70. Divide by to the amount of vitamin C in 500 grams of orange juice. So this would be 500 into 40. So 500 cancel. So this would be 7 upon 4, or 7:4. Now, second question, how many grams of tomato would you have to eat to be certain of getting more vitamin C than you would get by eating 100 grams of raw broccoli? Now, over here, this is potato or tomato. So we are concerned with tomato, and this is raw broccoli. So tomato will have approximately between 10 and 27 or 28 milligrams of vitamin C per 100 grams, and broccoli has approximately from 75 to, this would be approximately 165. Now, how many grams of tomato would you have to eat to be certain of getting more vitamin C than you would get by eating 100 grams of raw broccoli? Now, let's suppose if you're eating raw broccoli, so this is the range from 75 to 165. Maybe you get a broccoli which has 165 milligrams per 100 vitamin C. Now you need to be very careful, because this question says that how much you need to eat. So how many grams of tomato would you have to eat to be certain of getting more vitamin C than you would get by eating 100 grams of raw broccoli? So we will be choosing the maximum number over here, because we need to be certain. So there might be a situation that we might get a raw broccoli with 165 milligram of vitamin C. And from here, tomato. So tomato range is from 10 to 27. So we will be selecting the minimum one. So maybe we are getting a tomato having 10 milligram of vitamin C. Now this is what we need to understand, that we are trying to find out the minimum amount of tomato that you need to eat. So we will be choosing the maximum of broccoli and minimum of tomato. So if we eat this broccoli, we get 165. So on 100 grams, we get 10 grams of vitamin C. So how much we need to eat? So we need to get 165. So we need to eat 1650 grams, so that we have 165 milligram of vitamin C. Now, how can you do this? So 165, you need to get 165, because this is what you get when you eat a broccoli. And so 165 divided by 10, multiply by 100. So 165 is the amount of raw broccoli, vitamin C in raw broccoli, and 10 in milligram of vitamin C in tomatoes, multiply by 100, because 10 milligram of vitamin C is in the multiple of 100 grams. So when you eat 100 grams, you get 10 vitamin C. So you need to eat 1650 milligrams or 1650 grams in order to get 165 milligram of vitamin C. So option E is correct. Now in 96, what percent of fourth graders did between 1 and 2 hours of homework? So we have less than 1 hour, none. So there are students which are not doing homework at all, and more than 2 hours. Now we need to understand that this data is not exhaustive. So we have less than 1, we have none, and we have more than 2 hours. So we have more than 2 hours. What about students which are doing homework between 1 and 2 hours? So this needs to be also included. So in 96, so this is your 96. So 5% of them are doing more than 2 hours. So this is 5. And approximately 25% of them are doing none. So they are doing no homework at all. And there are 55% doing homework which is less than 1 hour. So 55 plus 25 plus 5 equals to 85. So the total number of the total should be 100%. So 100 minus 85 equals to 15%. So 15% would be the number of students as in terms of percentage who are doing homework between 1 and 2 hours. So option B is correct. Now in 1984, there were 2 million 11th graders. And if between 1984 and 1996, the number of 11th graders increased by 10%, then approximately how many more 11th graders watched 1 hour or less of television in 96 than in 1984? Now let's find out how many of them were watching 1 hour or less in 1984. So this number is little less than 30. So approximately it's 0.27. So 0.27 multiplied by 2 million equals to 540,000. And in 96, so again less than 1 hour. So this number would be approximately 18%. So 0.18 into, now we also need to understand that the number of students have of 11th graders has increased by 10%. So in 1984, there were 2 million 11th graders. So now there would be 2.2 million 11th graders. So 2 into 1.1 equals to 2.2. Now 0.18 into 2.2 is, if you do it from your calculator, this is approximately 396,000. So it actually have went down. So from 540, we have gone down to 390. So 396. So how much it has gone down? So approximately it has gone down by 150,000. So option E is correct. Now over here, then approximately how many more 11th graders? So I think they need to change this wording. Question 5. If the above circle graph were drawn to scale, then which of the following is closest to the difference in degree measurement of the central angle of the sector representing brand C and the central angle of the sector representing brand D? So this is brand C and this is brand D. In a circle, we have 360 degrees. Now, what is the difference? So 12 minus 7 is 5. So the difference is 5. So what will be 5% of 360? So 5%, so 300 into 0.05 is 18. 5, 6 are 3. So this is 18 degrees. So option C is correct. So we need to find out the difference. So 12 minus 7 is 5%. Or we calculate angle individually. So 12% of 360 and then 7% of 360 and subtract them. It will going to give you the same answer. Now the total sales of Coast Corporation in 2015 were 50% higher in 2000. So in 2005, they were 50% higher. So in 2005, so if 2000 it is 1,000. So in 2005, 50% of 1 million would be 500,000. So the total sales would be 1.5 million. Now, if the dollar value of the sales of brand A was 25% higher in 2005 than in 2000, so brand A is 40%. So 40% of 100,000 is 400,000. So it increased by 25%. So we need to multiply this by 1.25 and we get 500,000. So the sale of brand A was 500,000. Then the sale of brand A accounted for what percentage of total sales? So brand A has 500,000 sales and the total sales is 1.5 million. So this would be 1 by 3 or 33.33 or 33.1 by 3%. Question 7. To the nearest million, how many more students were enrolled in school, both in public and private, pre-K 12 in 1970 than in 1988? So 1970 and 1988. Let's find out. So this is 1970 data. So private is 1. Private pre-K is approximately 4. This number would be approximately, it's a little less than 15. It's let's suppose it's 13, and this is between 30 and 35. So let's make it 33. So 1 plus 4 plus 13 plus 33 equals to 51. 33, 46, 46, 50, 51. 1988. Let's go to 1988. 80, 81. So it's 85, 86, 87, and 88. So again, private grade 9 to 12 is 1. This number is little less than 5. So it is, let's keep, it's 4. It's almost the same. This number is approximately between 10 and 15. Let's take it 12. And this number is between 25 and 30. It's a bit more. So this number is higher than 20, it's approximately 28. So 28 plus 12 is 40. This is 45. So the difference is 6. So the difference is 6 million. So option B is correct. Now in 1988, there were 40 million public school students in United States, of whom 22% lived in West. So 22% lived in West. So 40 million into 0.22, this number gives you the number of students in public school in the Western United States. And this is 1988 to 1998. So this is increase. So they increased by approximately a bit less than 30%. So it's multiplied by 1.25 or 1.28 to be precise. And then from 1998 to 2008, the number increased by 10%. So again, multiply by 1.1. So let's make our life easier. So 40 million into 0.22. Now what we need to calculate approximately how many public school students are projected to be living in the West in 2008. So we need to find out how many students are living in West in 2008. From 1988 to 1998, in 10 years, there is an increase of 28%. And then from 98 to 2008, there is an increase of 10%. So 40 into 0.22 is 8.8 million. Let's convert this into 1.25 to make our life easier. So 8.8 into 1.25. So 1/4 of 8.8 would be 2.2. So 8.8 plus 2.2 equals to 11. And 11 into 1.1. So 11 11s are 121. So this would be 12.1. So option B is correct. Question 9. What percent of underweight adult females perceive themselves to be underweight? Now this table tells us, now there's a slight misprint. So this is one segment and then this is another segment. Now the white segment is overweight, black segment is underweight, and with shaded this segment is about right. Now the x-axis tells us the actual weight. So over here, so if the female is underweight, there's a very high chance that she perceives herself to be right. There's this percentage that she perceives her to be underweight, and small percentage which she feels that she is overweight. Despite the fact that she is underweight, very small percentage of female think that they are overweight. and there's almost like 25% of them, they feel that they are underweight, even though they are underweight. So they are correct. What they are and what they perceive, both of them are aligned. So what percent of underweight adult female perceive themselves to be underweight? So this is approximately 25%. So this might be like 60, 70, and this would be approximately 95, so approximately 25%. Even though they have written 12, but there's no way you can come up with a precise answer. Now, the members of which of the four groups had the least accurate perception of their body weights? So least accurate perception of their body weight. So again, these are your graphs. There's a slight misprint. Now, so the member of which of the four groups had the least accurate perception of their body weight? Now, if you look over here, if they are severely overweight, now majority of them, they think that yes, indeed there is a problem, so they are overweight. If they are moderately overweight, again they are thinking that yes, indeed they are overweight. So majority of them, they think that they are overweight. So the perception is correct. Over here, if the weight is normal, then so approximately like 30% of them, they feel that they are overweight. But majority of it, they feel that they are normal. Now, when you talk about if they are underweight, now a sizable chunk, they feel that they are about right. So there's a sizable chunk that they feel that they are about right. Now, if they are normal weight, so they feel that they are about right, so it's okay. But over here, indeed, if they are underweight, most of them, they are thinking that they are about right, so there is a problem. So over here, the most inaccurate perception we have is with underweight females. Now, if the female is underweight, they might be thinking that they are right, even though it's not right. It's not. The weight should be a bit higher. So there is this problem over here. So the problem is with underweight. Now, in 1979, the residents of New York City paid both New York State and New York City tax. So if you're living in New York City, so you pay both the state tax and the city tax. Resident of New York State who lives and works outside the New York City pays only the New York State tax. So if you're living outside the New York City, then you just pay the New York State tax. So in 1979, how much tax in dollars would a resident of New York State who lived and worked outside New York City have paid on a taxable income of 16,100? So you're not living in city, you're living in the New York State, so you will be only paying tax on New York State. So your salary is 16,100. So the bracket is this. This is your bracket. So from 15,000 to 17,000. So you will going to pay at least 860. Then anything extra on 15,000, you will pay a tax of 10%. So 860 you're paying. So what is extra of 15,000? It's 1100. 1100 into 10% is 110. So 860 plus 110 will going to give you 970. So the total tax you will be paying would be $970. Now in 1979, how much more total tax would a resident of New York City who had taxable income of 36,500 pay compared to a resident of New York City who had a taxable income of 36,000? So if you're if you live in New York City, so your salary is between 36,000. It's 36,000 and 36,500. So it's more than 25,000. So you will be paying $675 for sure, plus anything above 25,000, you will be paying not only the state tax but also the city's tax of 4.3%. 4.3%. So the total tax you will be paying would be 18.3%. So how much more tax would this person will be paying who has a salary of 36,500? So the difference is of 500. So you're paying your salary is 500 more, and you have to pay 18.3% tax. So 18.3% of 500 would be how much? So 18% of 500 is 90, and 0.3% of 500 is 1.5. So the correct answer would be option D, $91.5. Now over here we have a table of life expectancy. So this is for males. In 1955 to 1990, the life expectancy increased for both males and females. Now, for how many of the countries listed in the graph is it true that the life expectancy of a female born in 1955 was actually higher than the life expectancy of male born in 1990? So this line is for Norway. So in 1955, approximately, so the female life expectancy is 75. In 1990, none of the country has a life expectancy more than 75. And actually Norway, again, the female in Norway female in 1955 has a life expectancy of 75, but in 1990 males have less than 75. So this holds true. So in 1955, life expectancy is more than 1990 for males. So females 1955 life expectancy is more than 1990 males life expectancy. So it's 75 over here. For male in Norway, it is less than 75. So this holds true. Now let's check other countries as well. So this is for Hungary. For Hungary, it's approximately 67. And if you look over here, so Hungary has, it's a bit closer to 75. It's actually 70. So it's 70 is greater than 67. So this cannot be true. For Costa Rica, it's approximately 59. And Costa Rica, it's approximately close to 65. So again, 65 is greater than 59. So this cannot be true. For Korea, Republic of Korea, it's very less. It was approximately 50. And now male Korea has more than 65. So again, this cannot be true. Now this is only true for Norway. So it's only one country in which this this statement holds true, where the 1955 female life expectancy is more than the life expectancy of males in 1990. So option B is correct. Now by sex and nationality, who had the greatest increase in life expectancy between 1955 and 1990? Now the greatest change. Now if you look over here, so the steepest line you can see is that of females in Korea. So this actually, the steepness actually tells us the rate of change. So the rate of change would be highest for females in South Korea. Now, obviously you won't be calculating each and every one, each percentage change, but from the graph you can see the steepest line, which actually tells us the greatest rate of change. So option A is correct. Question 15. In 1998, there were 10,000 biased motivated offenses based on ethnicity. How many more offenses were based on religion than on sexual orientation? So religion and sexual orientation. So the difference is 0.4%. Now, if in 1998 there were 10,000 bias motivated based on ethnicity, So if total number of offenses equals to X and ethnicity holds for 10%, so 0.1 into X equals to 10,000. So the total number of offenses would be 100,000. And we need to find out how much more offenses were based on religion than on sexual orientation. So the difference is 0.4%. So 0.4% of 100,000 equals to 400. So it's 0.4 divided by 100 into 100,000. So 100 cancel. So 0.4 into 1000 equals to 400. So the correct answer is C. Now, if after further analysis, it was determined that between 25 and 50% of the offenses included in under religion were in fact not bias motivated, and those offenses were removed from the study, which of the following could be percentage of bias motivated offenses based on race? So let's suppose there were 100 offenses. Now 16%, so out of 16%, 25% to 50% were removed. So if 25% were removed, so if there were 100 offenses, then 16 were taking place under religion. So what is 25% of 16? That's 4. So 1 upon 4 into 16 is equal to 4. So we now deduct 4 from it. And we need to find out which of the following could be the percentage of bias motivated offense based on race. So the race number remains the same, 58. Now we are removing 4 from the total bias, total offenses. So now the total offenses that were going to remain would be 96. 100 minus 4 is 96. So 58 divided by 96 is approximately 60%. And if we remove 50%, so again, the number of offenses remains the same as far as race is concerned. Now 50% of 16 is 8. So we are removing 8. So 58. So how many offenses will remain? 92. 58 divided by 92 is approximately 63%. Little more than 63%. So indicate all such percentages. So it would be more than 60 and less than 63. So more than 60 would be 61, 62, and it should be 63 or less. Because this is something little more than 63, and this is also a little more than 60, but less than 61. So it will be 61, 62, and 63. So this is now what is the new percentage of race as far as bias motivated offenses are concerned. So option C, D, and E are correct. Again, in the end, you need to do a lot of practice so that you can get a perfect score. Thank you very much.